Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am BorderWise and welcome to a bit of a fun video, which I'm starting to get, I'm starting to really like these shorter videos I do now, where it's just showing off, it's a quick guide or having a bit of fun, and this isn't really a guide at all. I just think that there seems to be a little bit too much drama in the From the Depths community as of late, and by that I mean that there's any drama at all about a game where you build ships for giggles. And so yeah, we need to relax. I feel like relaxing, having some fun, and sharing some silly stuff I've been working on. So, before any of that, there's been a request just today for me to try and say words in Dutch, which is a bit of a random thing, but hey, this video is about having fun. So, pine nuts in Dutch. Let's see if I can pronounce this little. Okay, the word that will appear on screen right now, pienboompeten. Let's try that again, pienboompeten. Yeah, I probably butchered that. And just for added extra, and I really should have looked up what this meant before I try and say it. Oh well, Graf Ferdinand van der Nederland, which I think is the name of a ship or something like that. But anyway, now that's done, let's talk about what this is. So, this is something I stumbled upon, just mucking around in From the Depths, because custom campaigns are a thing in From the Depths. You can make your own campaigns, you can fill them all with your own designs, or other people's designs or whatnot. There's a map editor and everything, and that might be what this is right now. If I was going to design a custom campaign of my own, and no promises that I do that, by the way, because that is really time consuming and requires a lot of designs and lots of testing of designs and blah blah blah. But if I was, one of the factions would be, just for aesthetics more than anything else, the only structural materials that we're allowed to use is wood and heavy armor. Simply because it is ridiculously inefficient and silly, and also the only weaponry they would use is things that explode. So, what we have here, with our Marauder being the crash test dummy over there, we have some advanced cannons I've designed for this hypothetical faction, and as you can see, like, all these turrets are armored, and they've got heavy armor in a shell, but with wood acting as an ablative layer on top, also for decoration. Probably not even gonna paint this faction at all if I ever make full ships for it, because, like, I just love the aesthetics of wood and just heavy armor. Just, it looks good enough already, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, so this first gun here is pretty straightforward. Is a 6 meter long 500mm shell, autoloader only, because I was feeling lazy. Also 2 direct input feeders on here, and it's not amazing. And that's one of the things I like about designing a campaign faction craft, is that they don't need to be perfect. In fact, it's better if they aren't. At the end of the day, what you want out of them is that they should be fun to look at, they should be fun to play against, they should be fun to blow up, and they need to pose enough of a challenge just to keep you on your toes, and so you have that nice, satisfying feeling of beating them. So, this first gun right here, and we're going from left to right for no particular reason, it's a high explosive shell, quite high velocity. It's just a bunch of 3 high explosive warheads, inertial fuse, bog standard big shell. Marauder didn't like that. Not a huge amount of damage, as it turns out, and it doesn't fire that. Sorry about that, I accidentally hit the record button instead of the pause button. That was really stupid. Clearly I'm having too much fun. But in any case, yeah, it doesn't fire that fast. It's a 11 second cooldown, and it's just, I imagine this is kind of like a mid-strength, like, cruiser gun. It's the thing you encounter reasonably early on. Not a very big ship. It's quite a tall gun, actually, so I say that, like, there are much taller guns than this, but yeah, that's kind of what it is, what it looks like. And so, yeah, and here's the other one, and this one is quite silly. So, again, it's got that inner heavy armor shell, almost, but not quite, encapsulating the whole thing, because, like, the ammo intakes and the mantlets are actually, they are not behind heavy armor, they've just got wood on top of them. That is, I don't know, again, I wasn't being particularly meta in this whole thing, but, yeah, it's like, yeah, so this is, again, it's a fun gun. So if I get the structural blocks, you see the tetris in here. The tetris is not amazing. Well, it is. Well, no, I'm not blowing my own horn on this one. It is functional rather than great. It's just, again, its autoloaders only any more than 8 pure 8 autoloaders in an autoloader-only gun. It has diminishing returns, so these things just have 7 autoloaders in the middle one, and 6 in the ones on the side. So the thing, the OCD people in the audience might get a little bit crazy at this, because these guns have slightly different cooldowns and slightly different reload speeds. So if I get this one to start shooting, bang, missed horribly. That's annoying. So yeah, this is a 308mm gun, so not as big. Like, actually, you can really see that. Yeah, see, it fires like that. It fires in a kind of staggered manner. I really should show you the shells. So, it's the first one. It's 4 meter long, 500mm, just high explosive. I think this is the second one. Wait, no. No. This is the first one. It's the 6 meter long, quite a fast one, 641 meters per second. So could stick a hollow point on the front to make it more effective, but I'm not going to. This is the second one. This is 306. 3000 explosive damage, not great. Generally, for anything below about 450mm, you want to use frag rather than high explosive. But that's meta, and I didn't feel like being meta, so I encourage you people to have fun. Darn it. Because fun is fun. And also reasonably fast. It does decent against things that are made of wood. And yeah, so this faction that I'm thinking of, that I'm dreaming up, is just, they're going to be the first faction. So I'm designing them in order, and this first one is going to be loaded with high explosives, like, for all their weaponry, simply because if you want to try and build glass cannons, you will get, darn it, you will get very badly punished for it, assuming they hit you. So yeah, that's that one. And this last one is the silliest of the bunch, because it fires high explosive shells at 128mm, and so these do almost nothing. So we go here. 428 explosive damage, that does diddly squat against anything with decent armor. Like, for just so you know, like, and bit of a reminder, there is the 5% rule with explosive damage, in that if an explosion, once you, like, account for armor calculations and, like, the armor reducing damage, if the resulting damage is less than 5% of the health of the block it is hitting, it does nothing. And that is, as far as I'm aware, only affects explosives, HE damage. HE damage. So, yeah, this is not a great shell, because once you, say, hitting something like multiple layers of metal or something, this value will go down so much, and it won't do 5% of... Actually, metal block has 2,100 health, and 5% of that is 5 times 21, 105. Oh yeah, this isn't gonna do diddly to stacked metal, but thankfully it's a fun little gun. It's not very fast either, 320 millimeters per second, meters per second. And lousy kinetic damage, but it's just fun, because, fun. Because there's just something about firing a gun and just seeing lots of little explosions that makes me happy. And it still makes a real mess of wood. Yeah, I was inspired by... There are several Deepwater Guard designs that have little rapid-fire explosive guns like this, and they're not very damaging. But it is great fun to see the block confetti fly. Alrighty, so that is these guys. Oh, I should show you the tetris. My bad. So yeah, pretty same things before. Wow, I should turn the UI back on. So yeah, this one also, it has not full high heavy armor coverage. Kind of a deliberate weakness. I've worked into it. He says I didn't just plan this ahead. No, I just didn't plan ahead of time is really the answer to that. And the Tetris in here is pretty bog standard, so nothing amazing. And like, yeah, I wasn't trying to make this gun the best it could be. None of these guns, actually. I just want to have fun things to stick on a craft, so... Moving on, there's 3 fortresses I should have mentioned that I would like to show you today, because just it's fun. Fun. I like fun. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anyone, time, anywhere at all. Not going to go for 2, going to go for number 3. So these are the missiles. Thankfully I managed to catch that just in time. And the Marauder is slightly too far away, so we're going to... Oh no, not this bug. It's a weird bug where sometimes the mouse disappears on the map screen, so... You... Just a little bit closer. A little bit closer. So yeah, with missiles for this custom faction I'm planning, it's something similar to the Deepwater Guard. I don't want guided missiles. I want, well, dumb rockets, basically. I want, and again, high explosive all the way, which means that this first gun, so we're going from right to left now. I hopped out of my chair, I didn't mean to do that. So yeah, these are all dumbfire missile launchers, and I actually really like them. It's taken me a while to get the hang of them, ever since the missile update, which was, when was that? That was ages ago. I don't even remember when it was so long ago. We've had a lot of time to get used to it, so... These are all dumbfire missiles. We've got a small one, a medium-sized one, and one big one. I really like this one, it's great fun. And dumbfire missiles are actually quite nice, I found, simply because you can stack all the stuff that you usually fill with, like fuel and guidance systems and fins and whatnot. You could instead fill with warheads. So... For their ammo cost, they do a lot more damage than guided missiles, and also means you can stick thumper heads on them. And you can do this with, like, Beam Rider... Oh, hang on. Let's see. So, using laser beam riders, you can still use thumper heads. Using remote guidance, you can still use thumper heads. In fact, I reviewed a craft not that long ago, which uses remote guided thumper heads to great effect. But yeah, this is great fun. I like these things simply because you do this. It's like it's. Should probably show you the missiles actually. So these are little missiles. They HE damage is only about 900, but impact damage is roughly 1 per meter per second. So these things do 400 thump damage each. So that's quite a lot. It makes... It really hurts things that are just made out of wood, which is exactly as intended. So it's great fun. It's just... I love how explosions cause blocks to fly around even more. It's great fun. So yeah, this is kind of like... Yeah, a little RPG launcher. The ERA is purely for decoration. Honestly, that's the best use for ERA in the meta at the moment, is just as decoration, because it looks good. It's at the right angle. It looks like, well, stuff. And also, this little guy's on a 2-axis turret, so you can aim it wherever you like. And this middle one in the middle, medium-sized one in the middle, no ejectors on it, so actually both of these things could be arguably made more effective, but these rail gantries look so cool if you set them up right, so I couldn't resist. And these things hurt like hell, and I actually didn't really need to... Thrust duration 19 seconds. Okay, yeah, we do kind of need that much fuel. So these ones are interesting, and this is one of the best setups for dumbfire missiles, I find. In that you have a short-range thruster and a secondary torpedo propeller and a ballast tank, because what usually happens, if you don't have these two things, when they hit the water, they just kind of stop. So a lot of Deepwater Guard craft with dumbfire missiles, just when they're aiming below the waterline, it's rendered useless immediately because they hit the water and they are just stopped dead. These things are not stopped dead, especially because these torpedo propellers are set to maximum thrust, so they still go pretty fast in the water. So max speed in the water, is around 53 meters per second. And yeah, that's pretty fast for a torpedo. And even then, if it hits the water early, it can go a long way. So yeah, let's give this thing a go. Yeah, these all have firing delays on them just so the... whatchamacallit? So that the missile... Ah, here they go. Yeah. Just so that the missile can be sure... Well, the turret can get on target, and reliably so. So it reloads. Eventually... This is a great way to launch torpedoes, by the way. It's just really good. Hello? What are you doing? What? It just stopped. Is that a bug? Huh. Oh, it's because the Marauder just drifted slightly out of... Not me, you bloody banana. What does... There we go. We're back. That was weird. Okay, yeah, these things have a strict range limit on them. Just because dumbfire missiles are really accurate, but they do struggle at range quite a bit. Okay, so yeah, again, lots of ERA on it, purely for looks. Doesn't do anything because ERA has lousy health and is just generally not that useful. But now we have the last thing to play with, and we need a bigger target. We need something... Yes. Yes, I say. The crossbones. The crossbones. You're feeling it in your bones. Are your bones cross? They shouldn't be, because we're having a good time here. So this is a giant missile. Okay, and similar setup before. Lots of explosive warheads. Stacking warheads on missiles is really effective because there's no diminishing returns. Over 210,000 explosive damage and roughly 124 damage per meter per second. So, and max speed is 264 meters per second. This thing hurts like you wouldn't believe. And it has that secondary torpedo propellant ballast tank trick. Also a one turn. The one turn actually helps a lot because, especially on something like this, when like you have them in a row in here, row like this, the one in the middle is the most accurate because it's right on target. The ones on the end tend not to be because they're just off to the side a bit. That one turn just helps to get them pointed in exactly the right direction once they're launched. So handy hint there. Again, learned that from Deepwater Guardcraft. Thank you, Draba. But anyway, so this thing hurts like a mofo, and so let's... Also, I love to see it launched. It feels so good. Up, and there it goes. Dips under the water, no problem. A slight ballast on it, so it floats a little bit better than neutral. And... kablooey. So that's a nice big hole. It's gotten right in there. And has it ruptured an ammo compartment? Nope, not quite. But yeah, so large missiles are one of my favorite things. And dumb large missiles are a very... it's a... I don't know. It is pretty effective. It does a huge amount of damage. But honestly, like, if you actually want to play sensibly, large missiles are a little bit too expensive, both materials-wise and ammo-wise, to not have guidance on them. You never want them to miss. Like, ever. Because, like, if they miss, like, look at the ammo cost of this thing. The health is absolutely ridiculous, but it's 5,000 ammo for one of these things. That's a lot. You don't want to miss with these things ever. Also, I love this coincidence rangefinder is just up there, so the top of it looks more interesting. And I guess guidance is nice as well. Yep, ditched in the water. No worries. This is one of the few times in which hybrid thruster torpedo missiles are good. Jeez, that's a big explosion. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous, I say. And goes straight through the hull of a crossbones, which, by the way, the crossbones has actually pretty decent defense simply because it's got lots of spaced armor, layers of metal and wood. It's just really good. Actually, I want to... Let's disable this. You reloaded yet? I want to try an aimed shot. So, let's go here. What happens to the superstructure? Let's aim right in the middle there. Woohoo! Oh, that's for fun. Like, really, it's, I'm having way too much fun just designing weapons for this custom faction, which doesn't have a name yet, by the way, so... Like, really, like, I encourage you, like, if you want to just design vehicles with a shared theme, like, it's great fun. And you learn stuff as well, because I'm trying stuff that I usually would never do. So let's spawn in another thing here. I actually didn't want the crossbones. We're done with the crossbones already. Let's have the plunderer, because the plunderer is also fun to shoot at. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm testing using Deepwater Guard designs right now. It's because they explode in a way that is satisfying and fun. And last but not least, so this is the first one I built. This is the second. This is the third. Second one is last for a very good reason, because like save the best for last. And I already know where your eyes are going. Because of the silly thing on the, well, I guess it's the left side of this fortress. This is the Cram cannons I'm designing for this custom faction, and I might have gone a little bit insane. Certainly insane, like, well, all of these are a little bit crazy, because, firstly, if you leave gaps in your heavy armor like this, which I've had to do in order to jam all the gauge increases in here, it's kind of useless, because, like, explosions will just... If something hits here, gets to the hull, hits here, the explosion will... I think that explosion wrapping is still very much a thing. It'll wrap around here, destroy the gauge increases, and disable the gun anyway. So this is mostly for giggles. And the tetris of this gun is almost, but not quite, perfectly designed to make a Wellner cry. It's a rather daft kind of tetris. So the inside of this, if I just prefab a slice of it right here. So So we go here. Oh, come on. Oh wait, no. No. I was doing that wrong. My bad. Okay, so the tetris of this little gun right here looks like this, and it is not very efficient. So you got asymmetric design, you have connectors in the corners, and then the autoloaders coming off them, and you have the pellets in the middle and the ammo in the other corners. This is, I have tested this is not as efficient as the usual kind of diagonal Cram Tetris, which I think I still have a video on, which looks something more like this. One. And you have stuff in the middle like that, and it's just like that, and the pattern just repeats itself. This is not as efficient as that. What it is good for is jamming functional guns into a much smaller space, and this is a 1956mm gun in a 5x5 turret that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters tall, not counting the neck and the rest of the gun. Also, it is hilarious, and also not a noodle barrel, because aesthetically noodle barrels can be quite annoying, and that's one of the reasons why the gauge is so big, is just to get the accuracy better, not good, while still looking cool. Like, a .61 inaccuracy is pretty terrible. This thing is not good at hitting anything at any decent range, but it is hilarious, and you can spam this, assuming you don't mind cost. Like, honestly, to make any of these weapons viable, all you really need to do is replace all the heavy armor and wood with metal, and you'll be okay. Also, that first alpha shot is fully crammed always, so it does, well, that. Great stuff. Long pack-in time, because for those of you who are wondering, like, if you want to, and I'll just pause right here, So looking at the little UI, all the information that's on screen for this little cram cannon right now, if you want the kind of perfect reload time, you want to match the ammo regeneration of the turret with the ammo it's used. So you can use the packing time to set that. So each shell uses 216 ammo. It has 8 boxes, so it recovers 8 ammo per second. And so you basically wanted to recover 216 ammunition in the time it has, recovering 8 per second. So if you divide 216, 216, I've actually got my calculator right now. 216 divided by 8 is 27, so the time to reload, or the packing time, is 27. So that's pretty straightforward. And that means you can match your fire rate to whatever ammunition you have. See, the second one is considerably less strong. So this is probably just going to be like a wacky secondary turret, I think. Again, like, this is not, strictly speaking, a guide on how to do any of this. This is a video for fun. This is basically extolling how designing custom factions is fun. So it's about here. 8,000 explosive damage is not much for a cram cannon of this size. But it still does the trick, and that turret is small enough you can have lots of them. So yeah, that's great fun. The next one is a similar, like, horrible Tetris. So we go here, and again, heavy armor wrap, covered by wood. Which is, it's not bad armor, it's just, it works best. It's the most efficient form of repair monster you can have, simply because the wood is easily repaired, the heavy armor gives a big armor boost, and yada yada. It's also, I believe, reasonably EMP proof, because EMP has trouble getting through wood, and then what gets through gets soaked up by heavy armor. So, this Tetris is also deliberately kind of terrible. So we go here, and we go here, okay. And wipe that, and 13 by 13, I believe this is. This is a big turret. Okay, so we have here... we have the Tetris for this thing, and again, it is designed to make a Wellner cry, because it's just the cram connectors all one space away from each other. Autoloaders are kind of snaking back and forth between them, and the pellets go in the gaps. This is not resource efficient. Like, this is a usual standard kind of cram pattern that fits in the same space, costs exactly the same, but you get better packing into it. So this is purely for simplicity. This is so I can jam a three-barreled cram into a much smaller space, which you can probably do with the regular kind of Tetris, but anywho. So these have a much better accuracy, similar gauge, 1929, and it's got hats on it. So this is inspired by the Onyx watch. Oh yeah, again, ERA, great decoration, looks really cool, and this has kind of that, there's a kind of buttressy fortification-like hat on it, which I really like, and it's just, well, I should say these are not wood blocks, these are reinforced wood, simply because I cannot bring myself just to use wooden blocks. It offends my delicate sensibilities. So again, yeah, this is a similar story. It's a cram cannon, 3 barrels, and fires a little bit faster as well. At just 17-second reload. So this is probably the most sensible out of these 3. And unfortunately, this is still a bug, by the way. You fire duplicate cram shells. I don't know what causes it, I don't know what fixes it. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't, but here we are. And kablooey. So that is the starting fully packed shot. That's cheaty, but I think that was 190, no, not 190, 19,000 explosive damage. So it still does the trick. Still does the trick very nicely. So that's that one, and then you get to this. This is ridiculous, and if you want to be practical, I advise against going over 3 turrets on any kind of cram cannon, or advanced cannon for that matter, Because this is just really silly, and to give you an idea, this is the same kind of Tetris as this, it's just bigger, and this is how much this thing costs. It costs over 100,000 materials for this one turret alone. And I don't know what the block count is, because I haven't counted, but this thing costs more than a lot of campaign ships do. It is completely ridiculous, and I love it, and same thing as before. Part of the reason for that is because you might notice I'm using heavy barrels. Just lots of heavy barrels like this, and that's mostly because, like, heavy barrels synergize well with heavy armor turret caps. It's just, these things are... So, heavy armor beams right here. It's just here, so it's just where the motorized barrels stop, the heavy barrels take over, and that's just past the heavy armor construction. So if I do this, you should be able to see more clearly, except the barrels have shrunk. So yeah, like, if you do this properly, it means that both the barrel and the turret cap itself is very durable. This has a layer of wood on it, so that'll get blown off quite easily. In particular, these crests here are just here for decoration. So again, aesthetics. Like, this video is actually mostly about aesthetics, and aesthetics isn't just looks, it's also function, because it's the stuff that makes you feel good, and we should probably fire this thing, simply because it's so goofy when it fires. So 10, really high, like, the game can't actually process how much explosions happen at once. Actually, if we get a fresh... I wonder if we can kill a plunderer in one shot, because that will be hilarious if we can manage that. So we are here, plunderer's over there. Here is our giant silly gun. Are we going to kill it in one shot? Are we going to manage it? Almost. Jeez. We just vaporized. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is so much fun. That 10-barreled thing is not practical at all, but it's just so much fun to play with. Oversized turrets. Jeez. Actually, the crossbones, once you get rid of the outriggers, is quite a slim ship. Trim it a bit. Yeah, see the delay on the explosion. The game can't keep up. Okay, so it's like 3 volleys kills a plunderer, but meh. It's okay. It's probably... This is also very wasteful, because these are all pure high explosive, as per my custom faction rules. Which is a waste, because Cram's this big, penetration depth fuses are the way to go. You want them to dig in there. Did we actually blow it in half? Almost. Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. I want to blow things up with this a bit more. So yeah, like these Crams don't all have the same kind of packing. So the ones in the middle are a lot stronger than the ones on the outside. And I'm fine with that. Again, the more OCD people will kind of freak out about that. But, yeah, you know what we should do? We should shoot something that really deserves... Let's shoot a tier. Let's shoot a tier. Tiers are fun to shoot. Is the tier pointing the right way? It is. Let's turn you off. And... doop. So yeah, the custom faction. I've yet to actually design any hulls for it, but oh my god, this is going to be so good. Wait. Oh, that is so satisfying. So satisfying. Oh my word. So yeah, like, if you're ever feeling bored in From the Depths, and like, you're not sure what to do, and you're not getting anywhere with your builds, try designing custom faction. Like, I highly recommend it. It's a real hoot. You will learn things. I've learned things building these. I've learned what I'm allowed to get away with, actually. That's a lot faster firing than I thought it would be. Oh my, this poor tier. For reference, that one 10-barrel turret is like a fifth, well, almost a sixth of the cost of the tier itself. Oh my god, this is so silly. This is so great. Oh, yes. Lambs be damned. I think it's despawning already. Yeah, help us. The force of the crams pushed it under the water. Oh, I love it. Okay, so... yeah, so I don't know what this video is, actually. It's just the thing to take away from this is have fun. Design a faction. In fact, tell me in the comment section below if you were going to... even if you're not actually going to do it, like, if you were to design a faction for a custom campaign, like, what would it be like? What would it look like? Like, what would its features be? What would its weaknesses and strengths be? Because that'd be a fun thing to know, I reckon. So, yeah. Thanks for indulging me in this kind of weird video. Basically showing off builds that are not actually very good, but are just silly and fun. So... thank you all so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Support me on Patreon if you like. And I will see you next time in From the Depths. Farewell.